Welcome to Mindful Reads, where wisdom whispers through time. Today, we explore Nicomachean Ethics, one of the most profound works on how to live a good life, not just for yourself but for society. Penned by one of the greatest minds in history, this work dives deep into virtue, happiness, and the path to excellence. Let's reflect on what it means to be truly human and truly good. Aristotle was a Greek philosopher born in 384 BCE in Stagira, northern Greece, a student of Plato and later the tutor of Alexander the Great. His influence spans across centuries and disciplines, from biology and logic to politics and ethics. Aristotle emphasized observation and experience, believing we understand the world by studying how things actually are. Aristotle was a Greek philosopher born in 384 BCE in Stagira, northern Greece, a student of Plato and later the tutor of Alexander the Great. His influence spans across centuries and disciplines, from biology and logic to politics and ethics. Aristotle emphasized observation and experience, believing we understand the world by studying how things actually are, not just how they ought to be. He is considered the founding father of many sciences and a master of practical wisdom. Nicomachean Ethics is Aristotle's guide to the good life, written around 340 BCE, likely named after his son. The work comprises of 10 books and explores how humans can achieve eudaimonia, a life of true flourishing, through virtue, reason, and moral character. Across 10 books, it examines habits, the balance of the golden mean, friendship, justice, and the role of rational action in living well. Book 1, The Good for Man. All human actions aim at some good, but some goods are pursued for the sake of others. The ultimate goal, which we desire for its own sake, is happiness. This is the highest good, the end toward which all other goals point. People differ on what happiness means. Some say pleasure, others wealth or honor. But true happiness is stable and self-sufficient. It lies in living a life of virtue and reason, not chasing fleeting desires. Just as a tool has a function, so do we. Our unique function is the use of reason. So the good life is one that uses reason excellently, consistently, and in line with virtue. This leads to human flourishing. Virtue isn't innate, it's built through habit. We become just by doing just acts. So happiness depends not on luck, but on how we choose to live. Goodness becomes a way of being, not a one-time act. External goods like health, friendship, and basic comfort also support happiness. But ultimately, the best life is one shaped by character, reason, and virtue, practiced over a lifetime. Book 2, Moral Virtue. Virtue comes in 2 forms, intellectual and moral. Intellectual virtue grows through teaching, but moral virtue is developed through habit. We're not born good or bad, we become virtuous by doing virtuous things repeatedly, just as we learn an art by practicing it. Actions shape character. By acting bravely, we become brave. By acting justly, we become just. That's why it's crucial to start good habits early. Virtue isn't about knowing what's right, it's about choosing and doing it until it becomes second nature. Moral virtue lies in finding the right balance, what Aristotle calls the mean. It's not about excess or deficiency, but choosing the moderate path. For example, Courage is the mean between recklessness and cowardice. Virtue is always about finding this balance in each situation. But the mean isn't the same for everyone. What's just enough for one might be too much for another. Virtue is personal and practical. It requires judgment, not rigid rules. That's why ethics is more of an art than a science. Ultimately, virtue is a state of character shaped by deliberate choice. It's about consistently aiming for the mean, guided by reason. Through habit and reflection, we train ourselves to feel pleasure and pain at the right things. This is the mark of a truly virtuous soul. Book 3, Voluntary Action and Moral Choice. Virtue requires choice, and choice begins with voluntary action. We are only praised or blamed for things we do willingly. Acts done by force or out of ignorance may be excused, but most moral responsibility comes from what we choose with full awareness. Deliberation is key to moral life. We don't deliberate about ends, only about the means. For example, we don't debate whether health is good, but we do think carefully about how to achieve it. In ethics, virtue lies in choosing the right actions toward a good goal. Choice involves both thought and desire. We reflect, we consider options, and we act. It's not an impulse or emotion. It's a rational decision shaped by character. That's why moral development requires both reason and training of our desires. Courage and temperance are prime examples of virtue in action. Courage isn't about fearlessness. It's about facing fear for the right reasons, in the right way. Temperance, likewise, is not about denying pleasure, but enjoying it wisely, without excess. Virtue is always tied to our choices. We become good by wanting good, choosing good, and doing good. The more we practice choosing rightly, the more natural it becomes. In the end, character is forged by the actions we willingly repeat. Book 4, Virtues Related to Social Behavior. This book explores virtues that shape how we interact with others. These include generosity, friendliness, truthfulness, and a proper sense of honor. Each virtue, like before, lies between two extremes. Finding the mean is key to living well with others. Generosity is about giving the right amount to the right people for the right reasons. Too much makes us wasteful. Too little makes us stingy. True generosity isn't about how much we give, but how wisely and thoughtfully we give it. A person with proper pride values honor appropriately. They neither boast nor shy away from deserved recognition. This virtue stands between vanity and false modesty. It reflects a deep sense of self-worth rooted in real achievement and good character. Truthfulness in speech and action is another virtue. The honest person speaks plainly, without exaggeration or false humility. Boasting or self-deprecation both miss the mark. Being truthful builds trust and reflects inner harmony. Finally, friendliness and wit also have their place. Virtue means being pleasant and respectful in conversation, not rude nor overly flattering. A good sense of humor, used wisely, brings joy without offense. These social virtues help build harmony in daily life. Book 5, Justice. Justice is the complete virtue because it concerns how we treat others. A just person not only acts virtuously, but does so in relation to others. Justice is about fairness, lawfulness, and giving each person what they deserve. There are two main types of justice: distributive and corrective. Distributive justice deals with fair shares like rewards or wealth. Corrective justice restores balance when wrongs occur, such as in contracts or punishments. Distributive justice is based on merit. If rewards are unequal, they should match the person's worth or contribution. Equal treatment is not always fair. Justice lies in proportional fairness, not identical outcomes. Corrective justice steps in when harm or unfairness occurs between individuals. It aims to restore balance, not punish emotion. The judge's role is to equalize, removing unfair gain or loss so both parties are made whole again. Aristotle also notes equity, a higher form of justice that corrects the rigidity of law. Since laws are general and life is complex, equity allows for fairness where strict rules fall short. True justice, then, isn't blind, it's wisely discerning. Book 6, Intellectual Virtues. While earlier books focused on moral virtue, this one explores intellectual virtue, how we use reason to guide life. The soul has two parts, one that obeys reason and one that possesses it. Excellence in the rational part is key to wise living. There are 5 key intellectual virtues: art, practical skill; science, demonstrable knowledge; prudence, practical wisdom; wisdom, philosophical insight; and intellect, pure understanding. Each plays a role in good judgment. Prudence, or practical wisdom, is essential for moral virtue. It helps us choose well in real-life situations. It's not just knowing what's right, it's about acting rightly at the right time in the right way. Virtue needs prudence to guide it. Wisdom, in contrast, is concerned with eternal truths, things that do not change. It unites knowledge and insight. While it may not guide daily decisions, it represents the highest kind of knowledge, aimed at understanding reality itself. To live well, we need both kinds of excellence, moral and intellectual. Right desire must be joined with right reason. A virtuous person not only acts well, but understands why. True character is formed when reason and habit work in harmony. Book 7, Continence, Incontinence, and Pleasure. Book 7 examines self-control. Continence is the ability to resist base desires despite temptation. Those who succeed in this are praised. But Aristotle says true virtue goes beyond mere self-restraint. It is about desire itself being properly aligned with reason. Continence is when one knows what's right, but fails to act accordingly, giving in to passions or impulses. This shows weakness, but not complete moral failure. Such people regret their actions and still seek the good. Aristotle also discusses akrasia, or lack of self-control. It's a common human struggle, knowing better, but acting worse. Understanding this helps us realize moral development is a gradual process, not instant perfection. Regarding pleasure, Aristotle warns against seeing it as the highest good. While natural and necessary, pleasure can distract us from reasoned living if pursued blindly. The virtuous person finds pleasure in noble actions, not base gratification. In summary, true virtue aligns desire with reason so that self-control is natural, not forced. The highest good involves harmony within the soul, a unity where what we want and what is right become one. Book 8, Friendship. Friendship is essential for a flourishing life. Aristotle says no one would choose to live without friends, even if they had all other goods. Friends provide support, joy, and reflection, enriching our character and helping us grow. There are 3 types of friendship, based on utility, pleasure, and virtue. Friendships of utility and pleasure are often temporary, while friendships of virtue are lasting and based on mutual goodness. Virtuous friendships require equality and goodwill. Each friend wishes the other's good for their own sake, not for personal gain. Such friendships involve honesty, trust, and shared values. Friendship also involves reciprocity. Though not necessarily equal in every way, both friends must benefit and care for each other. This balance strengthens bonds and maintains harmony. Finally, friendship is a mirror. Through close relationships, we see ourselves more clearly and are motivated to be better. It is both a joy and a school for virtue, essential to the good life. Book 9, Friendship, Continued, and Self-Love. Book 9 continues exploring friendship, emphasizing its importance even during conflict. True friends can endure disagreements without losing goodwill. Such friendships grow stronger through forgiveness and understanding. Aristotle also discusses self-love. Unlike selfishness, proper self-love is loving oneself as one ought, valuing one's own virtue and well-being. This love is essential because it grounds how we relate to others. A virtuous person's self-love is aligned with the good. They care for themselves by living well and acting virtuously. This self-regard is the basis for genuine friendship, since one can only truly love others after loving oneself rightly. In contrast, those who love only pleasure or wealth act selfishly and harm relationships. Such self-love is shallow and unstable, leading to loneliness and conflict. Ultimately, friendship and self-love are intertwined. A flourishing life depends on balanced relationships with others and with oneself, rooted in virtue and mutual respect. Book 10, Pleasure, Happiness, and the Contemplative Life. Book 10 returns to happiness and pleasure. Aristotle argues that pleasure naturally accompanies activity, but not all pleasures are equal. The highest pleasures arise from virtuous action, not from bodily indulgence or fleeting desires. He criticizes the idea that pleasure is the ultimate good. Instead, pleasure perfects activity. It completes and enhances our best actions without overwhelming reason or virtue. Happiness, Aristotle says, is a lifelong practice of virtue. It is not a momentary feeling, but an enduring state, rooted in moral and intellectual excellence, balanced by wise choices and good fortune. The contemplative life, the life of philosophical reflection, is the highest form of happiness. It is the most continuous, self-sufficient, and pleasurable activity because it exercises our highest faculties. In living the contemplative life, we align with our true nature as rational beings. This life brings fulfillment not only in thought, but also in serenity, peace, and the deepest joy of understanding. That completes Nicomachean Ethics. Thank you for joining this journey through Aristotle's Nicomachean Ethics. We have explored the path to the good life, a life lived with virtue, reason, and balance. May these timeless teachings inspire you to reflect on your own character, your choices, and your relationships. Remember, true happiness is found not in fleeting pleasures, but in the steady practice of excellence. Until next time, stay mindful and keep seeking wisdom in everyday moments.